Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Stock Pit, and today we're actually going to cover off something a little bit different to what we normally cover off. I'm going to be talking about Ethereum, and yes, the lovely Ethereum, and which is really going mainstream, as did Bitcoin a long time ago. As always, before we start, can I just say I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers before the end of January. That would be amazing if I could. Super cool. It does take some time to prepare these videos and research the material that goes into them, so please, I would super appreciate that if you could. Hit that like button now and subscribe. That way you'll get notified when I put new content up. So yeah, Ethereum, let's get into it. This is kind of designed for those of you who maybe are new to Ethereum, who don't really know much about Ethereum. It's been a bit of a steep learning curve for me. Trying to research Ethereum and what it is and what it does and how it can benefit us as a society and as investors, and kind of what's in it for us, really. So yeah, let's get into it. Stick around to the end. There is quite a few interesting points I'm going to raise. So yeah, stick around and hope you enjoy the video. So some of you might be wondering, why on earth have I done a switch from talking about AQB, the previous stock which I was referring to, which is Aqua Bounty, which is all Salmon based, to now talking about Ethereum? Well, the answer is diversification. So although I'm not a financial advisor, personally I can tell you from experience that it's good practice for you to diversify the money that you're putting into your investments. You don't want to put all your eggs into one basket and put it all into like Tesla or into Aqua Bounty. You need to spread those investments across different areas so you minimize your risk. If one fails, you've got something else to kind of fall back on. Approximately, I try to aim for around about 10%. So about 10% of all my investments are in crypto. The other 80% are in stocks. And I do that, like I said, to try and mitigate the risk. If one of them does go pear-shaped, I can always kind of fall back on the others. And that offers me some sort of protection. So let me tell you about why. Let me tell you about why I think Ethereum is good for me, for my portfolio. Why I've added it to my portfolio, and I guess why I'm excited about Ethereum. And I need to share that with you guys because I think it should be common knowledge, and the more people that know about Ethereum, the better. So I think first thing we need to establish is, what is Ethereum? And for those of you who already know about Ethereum, you're experts in Ethereum, then please skip past this. But I think it's important for those who are not familiar with it that you understand what you're getting yourselves into, and you understand the risks of investing into crypto. Because you're putting your hard-earned money into this stuff, and you should know what you're putting your money into. After all, it is your cash, and you should know how to control it. So what's Ethereum? Ethereum, in a nutshell, it's a decentralized network, much like a standard network that we think about these days, like the internet, for example. It's much like a standard network we think about, but it's not controlled by a server admin. So there's no server administrator that's controlling the network. Ethereum is a decentralized network, essentially. It's not controlled by a single person or a network administrator, like I said. It's controlled by logic. So there are things called smart contracts in Ethereum, and it's basically a condition. It says if condition A is met and condition B is met, then let's execute the logic, the code behind it. You can create dapps, which is another version or a name for apps in Ethereum. Dapps with a D, which is it's run on logic, which is coded into the dapps. Once a dapp is uploaded onto the Ethereum network, it can't be taken down. So this thing's on there for good. You can't change the coding of it. You can't change the logic of it. It's there, and that's it. It's not going away. So people can't kind of tamper with it and manipulate it or hack it or whatever the case is. It's pretty secure. So the code is essentially a smart contract which will give users of the dapp or the app exactly what they want once the conditions are met. I guess an easy way to think about this is If you think about a vending machine, like if you go out to a vending machine and you want to buy a can of drink, whatever it is that you want to buy, if you don't put in the right amount of money, the vending machine won't give you what you want. If those conditions are met, where you press the button for the vending machine, you want a 32, which is Snickers or whatever drink you want, and you put in the right amount of money, those two conditions are met, then the vending machine will give you what you want. The exact same thing essentially happens on Ethereum. If the conditions are met, then the users will get what they want. The smart contracts are what run that, and if the conditions aren't met, then the smart contract won't allow it to go through, and the transaction will be declined, essentially. I guess the other benefit to Ethereum with the dapps is because Ethereum runs its own currency, there's really no need to have a third-party currency provider, or a third-party payment provider. Like, I'm not going to say the name, but there's a pretty popular one that starts with a P and ends with an L. You don't need those third-party providers on there because the exchange can be done on the Ethereum network, which is very handy. So just one more thing there for you guys. I mean, to get this microphone a bit closer because I think you probably can't hear me. It's something weird going up my hair there as well. So yeah, I was saying before, just to add on to more of my reasons why I think Ethereum is the bomb, or will be the bomb, and why I've added it to my portfolio, and just to kind of explain to you more or less what Ethereum is and what it does. I'll just read a bit of this, which I found online, which I've taken from TechRadar, and I'll link it down below if people kind of want to read into a little bit more. But it kind of it talks about what Ethereum is and how it compares to Bitcoin. Anyways, I'll read through it, and I'll link it down the bottom. It says, despite the altcoin market existing for around a decade now, and Bitcoin coming into play in 2009, the only cryptocurrency player ever mentioned in its league is Ethereum. Now, Ethereum is a public peer-to-peer network, which is what we discussed before, how it's kind of peer-to-peer, there's no middleman. And it's got its own cryptocurrency, which is called Ether. Now, its biggest difference to Bitcoin is that while Bitcoin aims to become a globally adopted currency that could replace conventional money, Ethereum is a world supercomputer upon which smart contracts, and then in brackets it says digital contracts, which automatically execute when their terms are met, close brackets, and decentralized apps can run. So essentially what that's saying is Bitcoin is the gold. It's kind of like the new modern gold, where a lot of institutional players are now buying into it because it is the new version of gold, more or less. And Ethereum is kind of like the silver. It's kind of like another comparison is you've got Ethereum, which is the app, and sorry, Ethereum is the hardware, is like the phone, and Bitcoin is the app, and the Bitcoin runs on Ethereum. And all these other altcoins that you see in the market, I heard the figure the other day, it was something like 8,500 different other altcoins. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. But I think it's something around the vicinity of 8,500 other smaller altcoins compared to Ethereum. Most of those, I think, if not all, run on the Ethereum network, right? Because they build the altcoin on the Ethereum itself. So Ethereum can be used as a way to obviously exchange tokens from one currency to another, so from one crypto to another crypto, and so it's built on the back of Ethereum. So really, from how I see it, Ethereum will always be the king, because most of these coins are going to be built on the back of Ethereum, and Ethereum is always going to be needed. And the more people that build stuff on Ethereum, the more Ethereum is going to be worth in the long run. So it's a win-win for Ethereum, really. So that article was written in it was written in December last year. It then goes on to mention in 2016 there was a hype around Ethereum, in the sense that people predicted it could even overtake Bitcoin, which is still the case today, as the most popular crypto asset. Now, since then, Ethereum's price has fallen quite considerably against Bitcoin, but still plays a considerable role as a popular altcoin. So now, like I said, that was written back in December 2020. It wasn't that long ago. And I'll just link a chart here for you to see. And here you can see the previous all-time high back there. And you can now see the current all-time high. Well, it's not all-time high just yet, but we are hitting that point now where we will be hopefully pushing above the previous all-time high, which was back in 2017. And so that was the all-time high. Now, if we push past that all-time high, which is 1,416 US dollars, then I think we're going to have a breakout. So that's the all-time high. Essentially, if it goes over that, we're going to have a pretty good bullish run. And I think, personally, I think it will push past that very quickly, very soon. A few reasons why. First, very much a case of supply and demand. So like anything else in the world, the less supply you have and the more demand you have, the price is going up. So in this case here, we have the same thing, a bit like fiat currency, but fiat currency at the moment is going the other way around because we're introducing more fiat currency in. Like, look at the US dollar. They just keep pumping more US dollars and printing them out, which is reducing the value of the US dollar, and will over time. And people are kind of hedging against that and buying into Bitcoin and Ethereum. Another reason why I think Ethereum is going to break through, and one of the reasons why I've kind of taken Ethereum on so seriously, is if you do some research on Ethereum, you'll see that Ethereum's, basically the exchanges that supply Ethereum are running out of Ethereum. They're running out of supplies, and the demand's outstripping the supply at the moment, which is virtually what happened to Bitcoin, or is happening with Bitcoin at the moment. There are still quite a lot of people selling Bitcoin, and we don't really know why. I haven't really researched into that, but I know Bitcoin reached all-time highs, and it's been coming down slowly because people are still selling Bitcoin, and probably just profit-taking, really. But you look at that, and you can see more or less how Ethereum is going to behave, or is behaving at the moment. Now, Ethereum does have more or less follow the same footsteps, historically speaking, that Bitcoin has and will continue to follow. So if you do a comparison between the charts of Bitcoin and Ethereum, you'll see that Ethereum does behave the same way as Bitcoin and has in the past. Now, with reserves running low, when that article was published, the first one, so with the reserves running low, I'm going to link an article here that was put out January 15th, so not that long ago, a couple of days ago. So when this article was written, it was mentioned that exchanges running out of ETH, with reserves plunging to 27% in 48 hours. Now, fast forward a few days later, I mean, this thing's going out like hotcakes. Everyone's snapping it up, and the demand for it is growing. A few days later, like I said, I've got a tweet here from Alex Saunders, fellow Aussie, who has written that the ratio of Ethereum tokens sitting on exchanges continues to decrease and move to offline holder wallets. So basically, people are buying it and storing the Ethereum in offline wallets, like on their own computers, taking it offline, or holding it in other places, apart from exchanges. So a couple of days later, it's gone from 27% to 22%. So a huge difference there, guys, when you're talking about how many ETH have been sold in that amount of time. So the supply for it is running very, very, very short, and we will continue to see the price of ETH moving up. We will probably very, very shortly see, within the next 48 hours, a squeeze where the price is going to shoot through the previous all-time highs. So I dare say, when this reaches the critical low levels that we're looking at, we are definitely going to see the price of Ether push up past the all-time highs, possibly beyond the 2K mark. That's to begin with. Long term, I'm hearing predictions of between 25 to 27,000 per token towards the end of the year, when the bull market is said to kind of slow down and maybe stabilize. So, I mean, why would it reach this silly price, you ask? I mean, what's there to justify reaching 27K when there is more Ethereum than there is Bitcoin? Well, with the new update to Ethereum, which is Ethereum 2.0, part of that is changing. So it's changing the way that Ethereum rewards its miners for processing transactions on their network of the Ethereum. So gas is used as a fee to process transactions, kind of like paying for cash to do an online transaction or going into a cash machine to get money out. Ethereum's version is called gas, and gas is used as a fee to process a transaction online. Now, in the past, the gas fee that was charged would go to the miner. That's changing, and I believe the gas fee is now being wiped off the system. So the gas fee gets absorbed by the network, and essentially, over time, Ethereum volumes will diminish. So there'll be less and less Ethereum available, which is again going to push the price of Ethereum up as supply and demand are affected by the lower volumes of Ethereum available. So that means obviously higher prices of Ethereum, and we all get stupid rich. In theory, that's how it works. But let's see how that kind of pans out. So to close this all off, just to let you know, I have sold some of my Tesla shares that I had. I sold a couple of those Tesla shares in order to fund my Ethereum purchase last week when it was down. It did hit a low level, and I thought this is like a great time to get into it, so I did. And I'll be holding this for a while until I see these. Well, I want to at least hold it until mid to end of 2021 and see where it kind of goes, where it takes us. I'm no pressure to sell it. It's got huge potential, huge upside, and I think it is a very serious contender to anyone's portfolio. If you can afford Bitcoin, then get into Bitcoin, but Bitcoin's at 37 or 36K, so I don't really have the need to go and spend that much on one Bitcoin when I can buy a lot more Ethereum for that same price. And still, Ethereum's got more upside to it than Bitcoin, I think, in the short run. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this quick introduction to Ethereum. I know most of you guys, if you're watching this, probably already know loads about Ethereum. You probably know more about it than I do, but this is more of a quick introduction to those of you who don't, who normally follow the channel and maybe might want to explore Ethereum as an option to invest. Please do your own homework if you do want to get into Ethereum, and remember, anything below the previous all-time highs, like I said, which is 14.16, is still a pretty good price to get into it. If it goes above that, I would still buy it, but obviously if it dips below or stays below that, it's a good entry point for most people to get into. I mean, if you're rolling in cash, then go ahead and buy it later on. But personally, I kind of want to wait. I'll kind of want to buy it below that 14.16 all-time high. Don't be one of those people though. I did the same mistake where I waited and waited until I could build some sort of conviction on Ethereum or Bitcoin, and purely because it's not like stocks where you see the fundamentals are there and you see the product, whereas here you don't really see a product. It's virtual. There is a product there, but it's not the same, and sometimes it's a bit hard to grasp. Don't be one of those people like me in 2 to 4 years and think, crap, shit, it's 4 years later, and I could have bought Ethereum at $1,200 per token, and now they're worth 27,000, 28, 30, maybe more. I've heard some crazy predictions that this stuff's going to go past 35, 40K in a couple of years, but who knows? No one would have ever guessed that Bitcoin would be worth $40,000, and it is, more or less. So yeah, don't be one of them. If you want to get into it, buy it now, because in 4 years you'll think that 1,200K was cheap. I guess one other thing to just to finish this off worth mentioning, and that you guys should probably consider as well, is you've got all these massive financial institutions saying, well, they were saying a few years ago, and even up to currently, it's like I'm not going to mention names, but there's quite a few of them that have come out and said, stay away from Bitcoin. Bitcoin's rubbish. It's not value. It's got no value. Can't hold value. It's some imaginary thing. Stay away from it. Don't buy it. Now, I think personally they're trying to do that to keep the value of Bitcoin and Ether down, because that interests them. It's in their own benefit to keep it down, because then that way they can snap it up. Once they bring the value down, they snap up a ton of it, super cheap prices, and then guess what? You got less supply, big demand, because they're now buying it, and people think, wow, these big, these whales are now buying it. I want to get into it as well. So then you got FOMO. FOMO hits, and people want to buy into it. All these, the small fish like us, and now we're paying exuberant prices for it. So I think more or less there is a way that they can influence the market, and they have been doing for a while. And don't let that fool you guys. I mean, I believe the same thing is happening with Ethereum. Chamath, who's one of the big time investors, has come out and said that he doesn't believe Ethereum is going to make it in the end, and he's Bitcoin all the way. But he's invested heavily in Bitcoin, and other people who invested heavily in Ethereum believe that Ethereum will be just as good, if not better, than Bitcoin. So I think and believe in Ethereum. I think it will do well, and I'm not going to pay too much attention to what these other institutions are saying about Ethereum, or the likes of Chamath. I mean, he's a great investor, and I've got a lot of faith in him. Sometimes people get these things wrong, and I think on this case, many people got Bitcoin wrong. I think many people are getting Ethereum wrong. So I've got high convictions for it, and I've dipped my toe in the water, so to speak, to feel and see what it's like, and I like it. I've done some of my own research into it, and I think it's a good thing to get into. Yeah, like I said before, it's up to you guys. Really, do your own research, get into it, make sure that you can understand how it works, and so that way you believe in the product. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you haven't already done so and you're here till the end, please hit that like button, hit subscribe. It does help to grow the channel and promote the channel, and I highly appreciate it. If you have any comments or questions about Ethereum or something else that you want me to cover, please put it in the comments. Happy to do the research and share it with everyone. As always, have fun, stay safe, and I'll catch up with everyone on the next video. Bye for now.